They say behind every successful man is a woman. But then I read somewhere that behind every successful woman is herself. Now that equation no balance. So, and that is why on today's episode, we're going to be looking at the art of balance. Family, career, and work. Especially for the woman who actually runs the home in this part of the world where we come from. My name is Kamos and this is Late Night Conversations. And I have with me someone who has done a whole lot of things. She's a writer professionally. I said professionally. She's a writer, she's a filmmaker, and she has also worked, she has a long experience in broadcasting, in media. All right. And she's seated here with me today to share with us how she's been able to manage that balance between work, career, and family. Don't go away. Right after this break, when we come back, meeting my guest. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back. It's still Late Night Conversations with Kamos. And I have with me a friend, in fact, a friend, and a colleague also in the media and broadcasting profession. And she is also a writer, a screenwriter, and there's a lot of things that she does. And you're going to be hearing her share with us how she manages with all of this and a handful of work to do in the home front. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Mrs. Kanayo Nbadiwe Ifeacho. I call her K. KK. Welcome.
I'm here.
Welcome.
Hey, Moss.
Welcome.
Thank
now,
you.
We have known you for quite some time, and we jokingly tease each other. We say, I do streets, we do hustle, we do this. Do that. I've seen you write. I've seen you produce on TV, and I've seen you do some other work that is APCON related. I've seen you do MC. And this woman I'm looking at here, you don't want to know how many kids have left this woman. And she's still looking like a sweet 16.
You know? This guy.
Yeah, of course. So tell me, let's just start this way.
Okay.
How have you been able to? What other thing do you do, by the way? There's one I remember. She's also a businesswoman.
Oh yeah.
She sells
swimwear.
Yes.
Swimwear and accessories.
Great.
I still do that.
What other?
And there's another one that is in the pipeline.
There's the pipeline.
Yes.
What's that pipeline?
No.
Wow. So with all of this, how do you manage? Like, how do you create that balance? How do you share your time? Because is it not the same 24 hours that we all have?
It is, it is.
So how come you are doing plenty things and I'm sitting down here talking to you in the microphone?
Well, the thing is, naturally, I'm somebody that doesn't like doing one thing. I get bored.
Doing one thing?
Yes, definitely. I get bored doing just one thing because my mind is always working around the clock. What can I do now? What can I do next?
Okay.
So somehow it's difficult to, at any point in time, to say that Kanayo is just doing this. A lot of people know me for different things.
Great.
People are like, you do MC? Yes, I do MC. I need swimwear and I do all of that. I want to write copy. I want to,
yes,
bring it to the
writing.
table. Just bring it to the table. I will do that. But the truth is, to balance all of that, it needs, for me, the cooperation of my family has helped me a lot on this journey.
To catch up with most of all of those things.
Yes, when I say my family, my husband and my children.
Yeah, people like us. We're very supportive.
They help me to make it very easy to be able to balance. Not very easy, but at least being able to do it. My family being there helps a lot. Like when I decided to go to School of Advertising, for instance, and there were many instances where my husband would help with preparing food for the children when they're back from school. He will do all of that. At times I stay so late, in the class.
Yes, because I remember some point, even in working with the media platforms where we met, you we close late, of course.
Yes.
And then
yes.
you go through like a 3 to 4 hours
traffic. Exactly. Exactly. So, at that point, I had the support of my husband to be able to do all of that, to be able to achieve.
And he cooks well enough for the children to like the food. Yeah?
Well, the thing is, I prepare yes, I prepare some of them ahead of time. Maybe he needs to be frozen. Okay. And warm and feed the children and make sure they eat and all of that.
Yeah, because
but all the fry things, he's good with all the fry.
Yeah.
Those ones are pretty easy, but the bulk of the whole thing, I just prepare ahead, and keep.
You are lucky and blessed at the time, because there are some of our men folks out there that even when you give them hot water to boil, it will burn. It will still burn to black. Okay. Anyway, so did you already have your children at the time you started doing most of these things, or you were managing with some pregnancy time and nursing time and still managing with work? I don't know how you've been able to combine all of that.
Well, first off, I started quite early. I started writing. Writing was the first thing I did. Then I was fresh out of youth service, and I remember that experience like it's so clear. I went to an independent. I went to visit a friend, and she was seeing me off, and I saw this building, and I wouldn't mention the media agency. But I just said to her, let's bounce in here, and just see what's up. You get. So I entered into the place, and I met I think the production manager, somebody, and he was like, I told him, I can write, I can do this. Like, okay, go and write and bring. He just gave me like synopsis of what to do, and I wrote that script within 24 hours. I didn't sleep. I was on that script, and the following day I took it to him, and he looked at it and he just said, come the following week and join the script conference. And that was how I started writing my first script. So I started fresh out of youth service, and I got married, and I was still, on that path. Yes. So when I got married, I started with what I usually do then. What do I do? Okay, I knew some cameramen, and I just said to myself, okay, I went to my daughter's school. I'm like, I can cover events, and they're like, I say, yes, now I have my guys. We'll just cover the thing sharp. And they're like, okay. And when they were doing their graduation, I just called my guy. Come, we have events. Guy, come, we have events.
Streets.
And the guy came and we covered the whole graduation ceremony. We edited and I delivered the job. I don't get job. And from there, it continued.
So, but you were still doing that job when you had your first child?
Yes, I started doing that coverage thing when I had my first child, and of course I was also writing.
Yes.
When I, my first child.
At some point, did you have other things added to the things that you do? Like after the script writing part came on, what was the next thing?
After the script writing, the events coverage, and at some point I just said to my husband, I want to go to film school.
What prompted you to take that decision?
I felt that there was more. It's not enough to just get somebody and you cover events. I believe that to cover, and there's more, to it. I wrote my first script besides the education I got in the university. I just felt that there was more, really, so I went to film school, and that was a couple of months, and I learned, the different stages of production, producing, writing, and all of that, and I was able to produce my first short film, which was screened at Durban in South Africa. There was a particular competition in 2004.
Yeah.
Though I wasn't nominated, but I felt good that I was able to yes, there was something I put together, and it went that far. Yes, it was a montage film.
Okay.
There was no words, just sounds and pictures. So
really?
No words. The montage film. Okay. So the pictures was able to tell the story.
Ooh.
That saying that a picture is worth more than 1,000 words.
Okay.
So I put pictures together to tell a story. Yes.
Wow.
So that was like my very first short film, that I put together.
Guys, remember when I started, I said something about she working in media house, working in a whole lot of places and doing other businesses on the side. And yet she has a home to run. When we come back from this break, we are going to be, looking at how she has been able to navigate through some of those home challenges to become the Kanayo that she is today in the industry. A scriptwriter, copywriter, producer, businesswoman, and every other thing you can think of. It is still Late Night Conversations with Kamos. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Late Night Conversations. If you're just joining us, we've been discussing balance in terms of career, work, and family, especially for our women gender, our female gender. All right. And we have here on today's episode a friend of mine who has really done so well for herself and her family in the industry. She has been into media and broadcasting for the longest time, and she is into writing, scripting, and copywriting. When you say copywriting, we're talking about for adverts, right? And she has been doing so well with that. And when you see her kids, trust me, you will want to have children. In fact, if your papa don't hustle well, you will wish that he hustled well. And it's the hustle that brought her here today. All right. Yeah, that's the truth. I remember one time when you were heavy. Okay. And we'll go to the office, and with that you still drive all the way to the office, go back. What was life like at that time? Because I know for some women, pregnancy is not a time to do anything. But there you were, pulling through all of those hurdles.
Well,
what were the challenges at that time?
The challenges were enormous.
Yeah.
From pregnancy, I will start by saying that pregnancy is not a disease.
No, of course.
It's not something that should stop you from doing things, from wanting to achieve. Yes. Because the thing is, like I said earlier, I easily get bored. Like, I can't do just one thing, and I can't be stuck in the rough. So for me, the challenges were enormous from nannies. Of course, I had to get nannies. Okay. I had to get nanny.
That's an entirely different.
That's like a different ball game, because they come with their own kettle of fish.
Yes.
And one of also leaving my children, behind. It was quite tasking for me because at that point they were quite young.
Yes.
Okay, my first was about 3. Wow. 3, and my second was I think a year plus or thereabout. So I had to depend on the nannies, to take care of them. And
then your husband has to also go to work.
He goes to work at times. That time he traveled more for work. At times, even when he's around, he had to work. Sometimes he's in the house, but he has to move too.
Yeah.
So most of the time it was the nanny. In fact, I know there was a time, I came back from work one certain time, and I was looking at my daughters, and they were not looking like really good, and all of that. Yeah. And I kept telling the nanny, there is food in the house, but I don't like the way my children are looking.
Yeah.
But what can I do?
Did the children complain at any point in time that they weren't really fed or anything?
They didn't complain, but I could see.
Okay.
I could see they were just happy that mommy was there.
Yeah.
But I could see that something was missing. So it was.
And then your absence, did it in any way impact in what your presence would have helped children achieve, or what your presence would have helped to do in their lives? Because I know there's something about the parents being present in the children's life.
Well, the thing is, whenever I am around, I try to be around, to be able to cover up. In fact, there was a certain time, going to Victoria Island, you have to leave very early, come back late because of traffic and all of that. So there was a time I left early, the children were still sleeping, and I came back, they had gone to bed. So I didn't see them for like a full day. They didn't see me, I didn't see them. The following day, I went to work, I came back in the night, and my second daughter, when I came into the house, she just looked at me. She looked at me and just walked away.
Wow.
Like she was a year plus. And I'm like, I called her. She just walked away. And I just sat back and said, hey. I'm like, hey,
Must have been angry with you.
Like, So the following day, I didn't wait for work to close. I just clocked out. Like, whatever happens, let it happen. So I clocked out quite early and went home early. And I had to pacify, I had to buy stuff, and just try to make up. And well, at that point they were quite young, really. So I just tried to be, whenever I'm there, I just try to be there. But it's not been easy, trying to pursue your dreams, and having a family, trying to put all of that together. It's been quite a challenge. You get, but somehow we've been doing it, digging it, and the thing is, at some point I had to, you try to change and sacrifice and leave some things undone
just so I can meet up with
exactly.
Okay.
So at some point, I had to, leave the job, because I found out that it was taking something away. In as much as I loved that job, I actually loved it. I was doing what I loved to do. I was writing, I was producing, I was
at least the fulfillment of seeing your work on TV.
So I actually enjoyed being there. But at the same time, I knew that I had to rethink a whole lot of things to be able to balance, my career, what I love to do, my family, and all of that. So it's been a journey of, give and take. At times I'm up there, at times I'm here.
So, and it did not in any way, like the attention you would now have to share with the kids and of course your husband, it didn't affect your work in terms of creativity and volume?
Well, the thing is, creativity, not exactly.
Trying to balance.
Yes. Well, I had very understanding people, around working with me. So at times they understood times where I had to take an excuse. They call me from school. My daughter is in the hospital. I have to leave early, and be with her, that kind of thing. So I had people that understood that, well, she's a mother, all of that. But I don't always want to bring that to the fore. For me, work is work. And when I'm there, I have to be there. I have to deliver. I don't like giving excuses.
Then, if you were doing this work and you're delivering, is it that the remuneration weren't, meeting up with your bills? Could that have been the reason for you wanting to do a lot more aside the part being bond? But if you had a lot of money coming in from one job that also gives you time for family, would you have still opted for additional engagement?
If I had good well, the truth is the bills are always there. You get
increasing.
it doesn't come down.
I'm breathing. It's almost like
bills.
every time you get home, the bills are panting like this.
You know,
looking at you.
Oga is there doing what he has to do.
Yeah.
You know, and we're supporting. You get, but at the same time, the bills are there. You know, so besides not always wanting to do just one thing, I want to do a lot of things. You know, I have that energy. My head is always thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What that kind of thing. But at the same time, the bills are there. You know, and
whatever it is, you have to pay the bills somewhere.
At the end of the day, you have to support Oga, be able to, you know, make sure that everybody is happy and all of that. So yeah, so if perhaps the remuneration was like top, perhaps we could just do one or two things, you know, maybe not so many, but you know, one or two things.
You are doing so many already. It's easy. You are not even doing one or two now. Your own is not one or two. It's not like where 2 or 3 are gathered. You are doing plenty. I mean, it's a great one, and that's as against the sit at home kind of wives, which for me is still okay, because for some men or some families, they prefer to give their children that full attention, given the whole lot of vices going on in the society now. You have children having express access to social media.
Oh yes, exactly.
And now we're beginning to hear the Gen Z. Is it Gen? No, not Gen Z. What do they call the newest one now? Gen whatever, Sha.
Generation question mark.
And then imagine when somebody is telling you, don't call me a boy or don't call me a girl. So what are you now? I'm X.
Okay. God will help us.
So in still talking about balance.
Yeah.
Now you've had to do a whole lot of things, and at some point you had to step down. I don't know the level where the children and how if they are also grown now, but I want to go into the part where you had to be compelled to leave them even against your wish, but you needed to go out there to make a living and get some work done, and then you now had to leave them in the hands of nannies. How has that played out? Did it help? Did it inhibit anything? And because a lot of people are scared of having nannies watch over their children, and I'm sure that you wouldn't have done it if it were not like a pressing need at that time.
Yeah. Well, leaving my children with nannies. Oh my God, it has been. In fact, we could actually do a movie
on that.
Nanny.
What did that say?
What you go call that? We can do like series.
Wow.
On that. It's if I start mentioning my experiences or telling you stories, I'm not sure we'll live here. So
from your experience, what have you learned? That I know that not all nannies are bad, just that we sometimes get influenced by the ones we've seen more. You've seen the bad ones more, it kind of shapes your mindset about them. You see the good ones more, it also shapes your mindset about them. But from your experience, what would be the thing that you would say you would still do, and the things you would say you would no longer do?
Well, first off, I would say that when a mother, leaves the child with a nanny, just be prayerful. Just try to be prayerful, because even when you're not there, God He will help you. So because I tried to, it's not like with the little I'm able to, yes, God actually helped me it saved me.
Yeah.
I'll just put it that way. It saved me. Because there were instances where, the experiences are just not so good. I don't want to mention them,
don't worry, we'll come to a few of those experiences. You may not go in details, but then just some of the takeaways, because I'm sure there are some mothers out there watching us who have this challenge also about creating a balance between the demand for work and then the demand in the home front. Don't go away, we'll be right back. When we come back, she will be talking more of all of this. Midnight Conversations will be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's been Late Night Conversations, and today's episode has been quite interesting. It's all about our women who are doing so well, doing great things and supporting the home in the businesses they're doing, the careers that they are into, and today I have someone who is sharing her real life experiences about balancing both, or balancing even more things in her hands. All right, I have with me Mrs. Kanayo, Nbadiwe Ifeacho, and she has been sharing her interesting experiences. Don't think she's this gentle. She's just gentle because we have microphone in front of her. When you take this microphone, I'm telling you, once the cameras go off, trust me, she's not.
I'm nice
gentle.
now.
Yeah, she's nice, but
gentle
she's not.
Now.
Somebody that used to tell me street. She did street. She did street.
Guy.
It's all good. It's been an interesting conversation so far.
Thank you.
And then I know that in all of this, you're trying to find a balance between doing the things you love to do, doing multiple things so that you can run away from the boredom that you're talking about, and then also balancing the home front, which is even the reason why you do the hustles in the first place.
Yeah.
Has there been any point in time where you've been pushed to that edge where you had to choose, then is either this work or my family, no longer both, and where you had to just find a way to drop one and let the other one suffer? Have you gotten to that point at any point in time?
Yes, I have.
My guess is you chose family. Of course.
Well, yes. After I had my fourth daughter, okay, so I
yes, you heard that right. Fourth daughter. Yeah, because when she sat down here, you thought she's taking and overtaking herself. So don't even worry yourself.
After I had her, I just said to myself, there is no, how do I, manage, and I just said to myself, I have to do something that will give me time.
Was the nannies? Did you have the nanny at the time?
Yes, I had a nanny. At the time when I had my fourth daughter, I had my fourth child. I had a nanny. Okay, and there were problems here and there, with the nannies, and I just said to myself, I have to be around.
Yeah.
I can't leave my children with, a total stranger.
Yeah. So, especially the infant.
Oh yes. So I had to delve into, business.
Okay.
So that was when in fact, the idea came, my children's school, that was when they started swimming as an extracurricular.
Yeah.
So I just said to myself, I think there's something here.
When you think business, you are looking at what every other person is looking at, and you are seeing what other people don't see.
Yes, because I actually saw a lacuna. They didn't have, parents were like, where do I buy swimming trunks? Where do I, so there was an opening, and I said to myself, I can actually just go and look for where these things are and supply them.
And it worked?
Oh, definitely. I had goods in the boot of my car. So when I usually come before school closes, I'll just park my car. My children are in the school, so I'll just park my car, open my boot, and there were swimming things. They were buying goggles, they were buying caps, they were buying trunks, they were buying stuff. And, it started growing, and I started Googling, going on the internet, started looking for where there were fairs, maybe fairs to advertise my wares. I started calling up swimming instructors. I don't know them. I just look at the internet and, hello, I sell this, I do this, can I? So there was a time, there was this swimming fair, and I called up the guy organizing. I don't know him. I just saw it on the internet and I called him up and I said, can I have like a stand in your fair? And he told me the amount. I paid for it. And I came there and I advertised,
for people to
buy my swimwear.
Yes.
And from there, I now knew several coaches. I was taking numbers that came for the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was taking numbers down, and all of that. And from there, we just started.
So it was more like doing something doing a business that keeps you closer.
Exactly. That was the
kids.
driving, that was the thing that was moving me at that point. So at that point, I had to put myself at the background.
Yes.
I knew what I loved to do. Like,
so did you now notice any sort of brightness, like in the mood of the kids having mommy around?
Oh yes. Just having mommy there was like ethereal. You get. Wow. So they were happy that mommy was at least available.
So what would you tell someone who is who is presently dealing with what you've already survived, so to speak?
Well,
talking about lessons you have picked, is there something you think you should have done better in order to gain on both sides of the coin?
Well, I think I like my story as it is.
Okay.
You get, it's not all smooth. Our challenges only make us better.
Yeah.
You get. So when the thing is, when one has challenges, you rethink, you re-strategize. What do I do next? What decision do I have to take next?
Yeah.
So that things don't suffer. You get. So at the point, even when I was doing the business, I was still freelancing. I was still writing. So I still had friends
you just write remotely. So it's not
exactly.
Like a 9 to 5
yes, exactly. So I had to re-strategize. So I had some friends that I had when I was working full time. Sometimes they call me up. I want to write a copy for so brand. So I still did that. I still wrote on the side. So I was still doing that and still doing, my business. So somehow I didn't want to leave the industry entirely, and I would advise them to make the children be able to do chores.
Yeah.
So what I did was I made sure that my children started to learn.
Okay.
You get
home chores.
Yes, exactly. So even when I decided that I don't want to have any other nanny,
and the children helping out.
Yeah, exactly. So I was teaching them small. Go and get me this. Go and get me the other one. Go help. My 7-year-old, she started changing diaper
for the younger
ones. One day I just tried it. I just said, take that diaper, change. She changed. She carried the baby, carried leg up, put diaper, everything, did it. I'm like, oh, nice. So when when the children are able to do, don't leave them not to do. Don't leave them just there.
You have to learn things that you do.
Exactly. Make your bed, fold your clothes.
Rather than leaving everything to the nanny.
So nannies are, at this point, we were able to do without them because we're all working together. You get. So I had to involve everybody. Yes. My hobby, the children, everybody was doing it together. It's for the betterment of everybody.
True. But for the hobbies, is there something you think that men could do better to support their wives? To help them in achieving both ends, the career and family front. I know that you said he's been supportive, and then I said you are lucky and blessed at the same time. There are some that are not, and I know that if I have some other guests here, they could tell me that Bobby is not even around.
True,
so
exactly.
Sometimes it may not necessarily be their fault, but what do you think men can do differently to help the women achieve their own personal goals?
Well, they should just. I don't know how to put it. I think I'm lucky or blessed because I've been Hobby understood that this is who I am. Do you get? It's always better to lay those things down early. I have my dreams. I have my aspirations. I want to achieve things, and it's not just marriage is not the destination. They help you to your destination. Those are the things that happen along the way. You get? So when your spouse understands that this woman has a dream, she has what she wants to be, it helps. You don't start midway to say, I have a dream.
Yeah, just get out your dream. Stay at home.
But when you start early to say that I have a dream and I want to do stuff, and God blesses you, you have a hobby that keys in to that dream, it's easier for you. So the thing is, if most spouses can understand that, fine, it's her duty to, she's my wife, she has the children, and all of that, but perhaps there's something she wants to achieve inside of her. Small help with hold the baby. You get, hold the baby while she works, maybe on her computer, or takes a nap or something. Just be supportive.
I want to ask a funny question.
Okay.
So you said just now that you have to make your daughter change the diaper. And
okay.
So does your husband change diaper? Is it not?
Yes, I had to make him change diaper one time.
Okay, you have to not take it through it. How did you take it?
He has to do it too. He's our child. It's honestly, like, it's not. It's
how can you make a title man change diaper?
I had to make him understand that this is our code of.
Yes.
You understand? And there's no nanny in the house. Honestly, like, there's a whole lot on the woman's shoulder for her to do alone.
And if not properly managed, these are some of the things that bring friction, bring some sort of conflict.
Exactly.
At home.
Exactly.
This you've really done a whole lot. You've really done a whole lot. So does it get better as the children grow older?
Yes, it gets.
Considering that you now have them doing things for themselves.
It gets lighter.
Yeah.
When the children are beginning to do things in the house, it gets lighter. And that was the reason why sometime, I think last year, I decided to go to School of Advertising.
Oh, just last year here?
Yes. I got a bit bored,
Again.
I now said to myself, I have to learn something. I have to hone my skills.
To think like you.
I have to hone my skills. I have to do something new, something
because
fresh,
I know some people
different.
out there when it's better for them when they are not even doing anything, so that they can watch. Let me not mention the name. we know.
For me, I just said to myself, I have to go back to learn. I have to learn something. I think it's been long I've learned, a skill. So I said, I'll go to School of Advertising. I just discussed. Yes, so I just talked to a hobby and I said, okay, that's what you want to do. Go ahead.
Why School of Advertising?
Well, because
were you aiming at something?
The thing was, I just looked at the different. The problem of doing so many things is at times you're like, which one I sabi pass?
Yeah, now.
So it's quite
career crisis where you can do a whole lot of things at the same time, but unable to choose the one you want to stay with.
Exactly. But for copy, I just said, okay. I started with writing. At some point in my journey, I was writing. So I just went to School of Advertising to learn. I majored in copywriting.
Okay.
And I gave it my best shot. Because I had the support of my family.
Yeah.
So I gave it everything. And at the end of the day, I came out with 3 awards.
Wow.
From school.
Yes, I saw something like that. You posted it on LinkedIn. LinkedIn or Facebook.
Yes, one of Instagram, Facebook. Yes, I didn't see it coming.
Wow.
For me, I just felt that I was intentional.
Let's just try to deviate a little bit from family.
All right.
On one of the episodes we had here, I had some persons, some colleagues from the film industry talking about some of the restrictions that they experience, that they get when they try to sell some kind of content. And I felt it's something that has to do with regulations, something that APCON is evolving. For instance, preventing them from buying, media houses refusing to buy films that has something about maybe story that relates to incest. Not that they are promoting it, but something incest, and they are now trying to do a movie that addresses such social issue. And then there's another one about nudity and blood on screen. So I don't know if it's part of, I don't know if you have that, the answer we're looking for, like if it is part of, or if there's any rule from APCON, the guiding body, like, insisting that filmmakers or content creators don't put such things on screen for the Nigerian audience.
Well, I'm not part of the regulatory body, okay? Yes. But I just feel that some of those issues, content you talked about, they have to be regulated, or else it will just blow off the roof. And at times children just come and bump into these things.
Yes.
Not every TV set has parental control, and all of that. So we have to also be careful what we put out there and tell our own stories as Nigerians and as Africans.
But these are our own stories now that they are trying to tell. Just yesterday I read on the news, but then this was in is it Kenya or South Africa, where a policewoman was engaging in sexual relations with her son, and then the authorities were after her. So now, such things could happen in Nigeria, and we try to put it in films, and it will just be somehow. Anyway, before we go into that, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll just answer that, and then we go into one interesting segment, which I am sure you know about. You've been laughing and getting scared about it since. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be going into the random pick segment, where our guest will pick some random questions and give us true answers. No lie, no lie. Yes. She's getting scared, but it's all interesting. If you're just joining us, is Late Night Conversations with Kamos, and I have with me Kanayo, Nbadiwe Ifeacho, and she is a professional writer, producer, and generally a businesswoman who also manages the home well. Stay tuned, and the show will be right back after this break. Welcome back. It's still Late Night Conversations, and if you're just joining us, we've been talking about balance, the art of balance, especially for the female gender, for our women in the home, balancing the career, the work, and the whole lot of job they have to do in the family. All right, and to discuss that, we have with us in the studio a professional writer, someone who has done a whole lot of things in the media and broadcasting industry, and yet she has a home to run. All right, so it's been an interesting conversation so far. I know you were telling us certain things about managing the home, managing the career, managing everything, and then from there we decided to deviate a little bit into the things that people produce and they are unable to sell, the regulatory bodies that get involved. So you were telling me something about we paying attention to what our children watch and all of that. I remember one certain time where you had to mention to me personally, like something about the cartoon channels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you remember that conversation?
Yes,
so you said something about I should try and pay attention to what the kids watch because you were noticing some trends. Just speak a little bit on that. Okay, so
most times I try to watch what my children also watch.
Yes.
I'm very playful, and quite young at heart. So you see me watching cartoons.
Because they have to watch them.
Because they have to watch, and I also enjoy watching cartoons.
Yes.
So, and I don't want to mention the channel.
Yes.
But it's a foreign channel. Yeah. And they were, the cartoon started, and the song was going on. They were singing the song and all of that, and I started listening. If I sing the song now, people will know the cartoon and they'll know the channel.
Don't sing it.
I won't sing it. I won't mention. But and I'm like,
to promote something.
They were promoting
into the subconscious of the kids.
Exactly. It was subtle.
Yes.
The children might not know, but it was subtle. They were subtly pushing forth, a particular agenda, ideology. And after that day, I just called my children and I said, this cartoon cannot be watched in this house. anymore. And
did you explain to them the reason?
Definitely. Oh, I'm so.
And they understood.
They understood. I just said, look, what I try to do with my children is I tell them the hard facts. I don't paint it. I call things by their names. The way it is. The world is not a fairy tale.
Yeah.
You get, so you tell them the way it is.
Wow.
You get, so
this is interesting.
And they stopped watching. Even when I'm not there, they don't watch that
watch
cartoon. Yes.
But what if they watch it? They don't know.
They can. One of my children will say, this person watched too.
Oh.
You get.
So we have a whistleblower in the house.
We have a communicator.
It's all good. So on this segment, as we wrap up, we're going to be bringing our almighty box. And then this is the box where we play the game called Random Pick. So you pick randomly questions.
Must we do this part?
Yeah, we just do it. It's not a serious question. It's just to ask you if you were carrying first in school. Because some of our parents I was always the person carrying first in the class. Then when you not mistakenly see daddy's result, you say,
something. Yes, he gets.
So you just pick a paper, give to me, and I'll read out the questions and you give us answers.
Let's
anything you like. Just speak.
Okay.
Let's see how many we can cover.
All right.
Have you ever sneaked out of your parents' house, and what did you sneak out to do?
Sneak out.
Wait, did you have strict parents?
Oh yes, my parents are quite strict.
Both of them,
especially my dad. Anyways,
did you at any time sneak out?
Well, I won't really call it sneaking out. Like when we're growing up, they'll tell us don't come downstairs and play.
Oh, you are one of them.
They'll say don't come downstairs and play.
Dear brethren,
they'll go to work. Yeah, immediately that door they open.
And they never caught you any day.
Oh my God! I came downstairs.
And you survived it.
I came downstairs and I was playing football with the boys, my brothers and some other guys. At times I can be the only female in a football pitch. But just they play my ball. And my daddy came back and caught us playing football. He just drove past. Everybody froze because even me and the neighbors, they knew my dad. But that came out so funny enough.
You didn't say anything.
I'm telling you.
Have you ever consumed so much alcohol that you passed out? Talk through.
I don't do alcohol.
You don't do alcohol?
I've never passed out.
Has anybody added any substance to your food or drink just to get you tipsy, get you high, get your mind distracted?
No. But there was one time that we went out, a couple of friends, went to the beach. I think that was after secondary school, in between jam and
something that happened.
We just went to the beach. And they brought wine, and all of that. And I never drank wine before. I say, make I test. I was seeing things in 2s and 3s.
Get the next question.
Since that day,
started avoiding it.
My head no carry on.
Have you ever lied? Any kind of lie, even if it's to save your soul? So
I don't want to sound too.
What's the biggest lie you ever told? Like one of my girls that lied that she got a US visa, and when she did not get the visa. So have you lied any kind of lie like that?
No, I can't. I don't get mine.
Hey,
I try not to.
Too holy for my liking. Pick another question, Joe. All right. So this one says, if you could turn into an animal, what animal would it be?
If I can turn into
can't you be like
an eagle?
Why? I mean, like there are some very good animals like fish, Titus fish. Animals like a puppy.
you know,
You'll be very, very big.
fleshy and
fleshy and robust. Do you eat turkey? Soft turkey.
those soft or rubber ones.
Pick another one.
I'll be an ego.
You go, know the quick CM now, so
Yes.
it'll be like fish, shower or. All right. What was your first heartbreak, and how did it go? Your first heartbreak with that Babylon kindergarten that must have broken your heart.
Heartbreak. It's
No lie,
more
you.
like will I say it's
No heartbreak. KK.
it's not like I've
Was
not
school.
had it's not like I've not had
Heartbreak. But it was not too serious.
heartbreaks, you know, but nothing too
Spectacular. Let me say, you know, like the guy before now.
no dey too dey put mind like that. No,
Oh, you
at
know
that point it's they play, you know, that kind of just they play, they go.
Just the play.
Just they play.
Just dey play.
What do they put mind for this kind of thing? One die.
Pick one more before we wrap up. Anyway, I wish other people could take that play like that. Or some persons get heartbreak and then problem will just be. What is your top dating pet?
Dating pet.
Like your top dating
Rule.
rule.
Okay.
Talk now so that you can advise those of us that they are breaking our heart up and down. Do you know how many times it pisses my heart?
Well, the thing is,
Things that we should not do, or things that they should not do to us, or we should not allow them to do to us, or things that we should do to them when they do something to us. Either way, somebody has to do something.
do something. Well,
Why?
well, the thing is,
Yes.
when dating, you get, I try to an extent, just know who I am. This is who I am, like this.
Yes.
No pretense.
Don't get it twisted.
No pretense, no issues. Not like this, it be. You get.
It's all good. It's been an interesting one on Late Night Conversations, and we have been discussing balance, the art of balance, career, work, and family. And I have with me here Mrs. Kanayo Ifeacho, and she has been doing justice to the things that we want to hear. And if you have joined this conversation from the very beginning, trust me, I'm sure you must have taken some lessons, some tips that will help you navigate around the things you do as a career woman and as a mother and wife at home. We are wrapping up on the show, and I want to appreciate you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Just so people can have can connect with you. Maybe somebody needs to write script or get one or two things from you, or even get you to speak more.
A compare.
Yes, you know. So just give us your social media handle so we can reach you easily.
All right. Across Instagram, Facebook, I'm Kanayo Nbadiwe Ifeacho.
Kanayo Nbadiwe Ifeacho. So just check it and you find her there and follow her. And that is where we come to. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And when we call you again, you will come on.
Definitely.
All right. So guys, just stay tuned. Late Night Conversations. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. So on today's episode, you must have learned something about balancing your career, the demands of your job, the demands of your passion, and the home front, especially for the women who are more often expected to be at home to take care of the family. And from everything we have discussed today, I want to believe that you must have picked just one or two things like consistency, things like learning a skill, things like finding a way to be present in the lives of your growing kids. All right. And that is what we have been learning today on today's episode. We are going to make you a promise right now, and I have the express permission from my producer to promise you that we are going to have another interesting guest on our next episode on this show. It's going to be fantastic and you don't want to miss it. So just follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. You can also reach out to me at kmos_Michael and I will follow you right back. That is where we come to the end of today's episode of Late Night Conversations. See you